This is a story about Stephen, a 35-year-old teacher who decides to climb Mount Kailash alone to honor his late father's unfulfilled dream. What begins as a tribute becomes a journey of self-discovery, testing not just his physical limits but the very core of who he believes himself to be. Sometimes the hardest roads lead to the most profound transformations. The wind bit at Stephen's face like tiny needles as he stood at the base of the mountain trail, staring up at the path that disappeared into the clouds. His backpack felt heavier than it had that morning, or maybe it was doubt that weighed him down. "You don't have to prove anything to anyone," his sister had said before he left. But she was wrong. He had everything to prove, to his father's memory, to himself, to the voice in his head that had whispered, "You're not good enough," for 35 years. Stephen took his first step. The early hours were deceptive. The trail was gentle, winding through pine forests where sunlight filtered through branches in golden streaks. He passed other hikers, couples with matching gear, groups of young adventurers laughing and taking photos. They all seemed to belong here. Stephen felt like an imposter in his borrowed hiking boots and secondhand jacket. By noon, the gentle path had transformed into a steep incline of loose rocks and jutting stones. Stephen's lungs burned. Each breath felt incomplete, as if the mountain was rationing air. He stopped every few minutes, hands on his knees, wondering what madness had brought him here. His father's journal was tucked in his inner pocket, its worn leather cover pressed against his chest. Dad had written about this mountain 40 years ago, describing it as the place where earth touches heaven. He'd planned to climb it before Stephen was born, but life happened: marriage, children, bills, responsibilities. The dream got filed away like tax returns, stored but never opened. 3 months ago, Stephen had found the journal while cleaning out his father's study after the funeral. Reading those hopeful, youthful words had broken something open in him. His father had spent his whole life being practical, being responsible, being safe. He'd worked at the same accounting firm for 40 years, lived in the same house, driven the same route to work. He'd been a good father, a reliable provider, but Stephen had always sensed something missing in him, a light that had dimmed over the years. "Don't be like me," his father had said during one of their last conversations. "Don't wait for the right time. There is no right time." Stephen had nodded, promised, forgotten, until he found the journal. Now, 6 hours into his climb, Stephen wasn't sure if he was honoring his father or trying to outrun his own regrets. He was a teacher who'd taken the safe path too: stable job, comfortable apartment, routine life. At 35, he'd never traveled beyond his state, never taken a risk, never done anything that scared him. Until today. The afternoon sun beat down mercilessly. Stephen's water was running low. His calves screamed with each step. Blisters were forming on his heels despite the thick socks. When he checked his map, his heart sank. He'd covered less than a third of the trail. That's when he saw it, the descent path. It branched off to the left, a gentle slope leading back down the mountain, an escape route, an out. Stephen stopped walking. He could turn back. No one would judge him. His sister would be relieved. His friends wouldn't even be surprised. He could return to his apartment, his lesson plans, his comfortable routine. He could put his father's journal back in the drawer where dreams go to die. He sat down on a flat rock, breathing hard, and pulled out the journal. He flipped to a random page, his father's neat handwriting swimming before his tired eyes. Fear is a compass pointing toward growth. The things we're most afraid of are often the things we most need to do. Stephen closed his eyes. Tears stung, mixing with sweat and dust on his face. He was afraid, terrified actually, not just of the mountain but of failing, of proving that quiet voice right, that he wasn't strong enough, brave enough. A shadow fell across him. Stephen opened his eyes to see an elderly woman standing on the trail, leaning on a walking stick carved with intricate patterns. She must have been 70, maybe older, with weathered brown skin and eyes that seemed to hold centuries. "The mountain is hard today," she said in accented English, her voice like wind through leaves. Stephen nodded, not trusting himself to speak. "You know why they call it a summit?" she continued, settling onto a rock near him without invitation. "Because it's the sum of all the steps, not the big ones, the tiny ones, 1 foot, then the other, that's all." "I don't think I can make it," Stephen admitted, the words tumbling out. I'm not built for this." The woman smiled, revealing gaps in her teeth. "This is my 42nd time climbing this mountain. I first came when I was 50. You know what I thought then? I'm too old. I'm too weak. I'm too late." She laughed, a sound like water over stones. "Every time I climb, I think maybe this is the last time. Maybe this time I'll turn back. But I don't. You know why?" Stephen shook his head. "Because the mountain doesn't ask if you're ready. It doesn't ask if you're strong enough or young enough or brave enough. It just asks, will you take the next step?" She stood, adjusting her pack. "The summit isn't up there." She pointed to the peak hidden in clouds. "It's here." She tapped her chest. "Every time you choose to keep going when everything tells you to stop, that's a summit." She continued up the trail, moving slowly but steadily, her walking stick tapping a rhythm. Tap step, tap step, tap step. Stephen sat for a long time after she disappeared around a bend. The descent path waited, easy and welcoming. The ascent path mocked him with its steepness. He thought about his father sitting in his office, adding columns of numbers while his dreams gathered dust. He thought about all the times he'd chosen comfort over courage, safety over growth. He thought about the students he taught, how he told them they could be anything, do anything, while he lived a life of careful boundaries. What story would he tell them on Monday? That he'd turned back? That when things got hard, he'd taken the easy way? Or would he have something different to share? Not a story of triumph necessarily, but a story of choice, of continuing. Stephen stood. His legs shook. His blisters throbbed. His lungs already ached at the thought of more climbing. "1 step," he whispered. "Just 1 step." He took it, then another. He didn't look at the summit, too far, too impossible. He looked at the ground 5 feet ahead. Just to that rock, just to that tree, just to that turn. The hours blurred together. Sometimes Stephen sang old songs from his childhood, partly to regulate his breathing, partly to drown out the doubts. Sometimes he cried. Sometimes he laughed at the absurdity of it all. A middle school teacher from Ohio struggling up a mountain because of words in an old journal. When the sun began its descent, painting the sky in oranges and purples, Stephen reached a plateau where other hikers had set up camp. He'd done it, not reached the summit, but reached today's goal. He'd kept going. A young couple invited him to share their fire. As they cooked simple food and exchanged stories, Stephen felt something shift in his chest. He wasn't different from them, these adventurers. They had fears too, doubts too. The only difference was they'd learned what Stephen was learning. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's taking the next step anyway. That night, under stars so bright they seemed close enough to touch, Stephen pulled out his father's journal one more time. He found a blank page in the back and began to write. "Dad, I'm on your mountain. I almost turned back today. I wanted to. Everything in me screamed to take the easy way down. But I didn't. Not because I'm brave or strong or special, but because I finally understood. Turning back would have been easier on my body but harder on my soul. Each step up this mountain is hard, but each step back to my old life would have been harder in ways I wouldn't even recognize until it was too late." He paused, staring at the stars. "You told me not to wait for the right time. You were right. There's no right time to be brave. There's only one now. Only at this moment. Only this choice. Tomorrow I'll climb more. Maybe I'll make the summit, maybe I won't. But I won't turn back. Not from this mountain. Not from my life. Not anymore." Stephen closed the journal and lay back, feeling the solid earth beneath him, the vast sky above him. For the first time in years, maybe ever, he felt fully alive. The road he almost turned back from stretched ahead, steep and challenging. But tomorrow he'd take it one step at a time. That was enough. That was everything.